God chose fishermen because they spent most of their lives at sea. And so do we. You see, the sea represented chaos and death and all the stressors in our lives and world. The sea surrounded the fishermen like chaos and death and brokenness surround us all. Watch the news and see the sea waters rage around us every single day. And there are stormy seasons when all seems lost. Life becomes one terrifying storm of tragedy, fires, shootings, violence, injustice, death. That is our story. The story of the world, the story of history, the story of many of our lives. And it's always been that way. The secular narrative starts with a fish swallowing another fish. The Christian narrative starts with Cain murdering Abel. We're all fishermen in that sense. We all live in the sea. But one small plot twist can change everything. And it does. We see a ghost. It's terrifying. It seems to be one more thing to fear. And then it gets closer. And it's not an it at all, it's a he. And he is walking on the water like it was dry ground. He is treating the terrible things in the world as if they are just things in the world. He acts like he knows something the rest of us don't. Or he's just nuts. But then again, he is walking on the water. Some paddle away. Some don't. Some stick around. Some get to know him a bit. Some call him Rabbi and become his disciples. And disciples do what Rabbi does. So Peter wants to walk on the water too. We all do, don't we? We all want to face the sea with that kind of poise and dignity, with that kind of confidence. We want to seize our seas and be their master. Let me come to you, Jesus says. Come. And for a few moments we stand on the water too. I didn't get the raise, but I pledged even more this year. Someone cut me off on the highway, but I kept smiling and singing along to the praise CD I keep in my car. I prayed for that irritating person at church. You know the one. For a few moments we stand with our Rabbi. But then the storm hits. Divorce, cancer, death. And we start to sink again, terrified. I guess our story didn't change that much with the appearance of the ghost. We're going down, for sure. But then, another plot twist. Perhaps just as we are about to take our last gasping breath before going under, or perhaps only after being thrust under and only moments before we shut our eyes to the world, a strong hand thrusts itself toward us. Not the hand of a ghost, but of a man. And we reach out and take hold of that hand that now pulls us up. Up above the sea, up above the divorce, up above the cancer, up above death, and the story is forever changed, as are we, as is the world, all because of one small plot twist. One small plot twist, a hand in the waves, a light in the darkness, a God in the flesh. The gospel. The man standing on the sea was, of course, Jesus. He lived with everyone else, but not like everyone else. He lived with purpose, power, peace, hope, joy, meaning, love. Father, forgive them. Everyone else was sinking, but he walked upon the waters. Remember Job? Job lived with everyone else, but not like everyone else. He was sinking in a sea of suffering. He lost his business, his house, his money, his health, his children, his wife. He lost everything, but an unseen hand drew him above the waves so that after all that, he could still say, I know that you can do all things and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. The early disciples of Jesus lived with everyone else, but not like everyone else. They were submerged in a sea of suffering, beaten, tortured, used as torches to light Nero's dinner parties, crucified, killed, but they stood upon the waters with their rabbi. Remember Paul? In 2 Corinthians 11, we get the short list of his hardships. Countless floggings, often near death. 5 times I have received from the Jews the 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I received a stoning. 3 times I was shipwrecked. For a night and a day I was adrift at sea, on frequent journeys, in danger from rivers, danger from bandits, danger from my own people, danger from Gentiles, dangers in the city, danger in the wilderness, danger at sea, danger from false brothers and sisters, in toil and hardship through many a sleepless night, hungry and thirsty, often without food, cold and naked. But an unseen hand drew him above the waters, so that after all that, he could still say, we boast in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint us. Remember James? I imagine he wouldn't have been so surprised to see Jesus standing on those waters, because he had seen his brother continually rise above the same difficult circumstances that brought his youthful peers low. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So how about you? You live with everyone else, but will you live like everyone else? We are all fishermen. surrounded by a sea of suffering, and perhaps you find yourself in a stormy season of suffering. Will you flail around like everyone else? Will the waves overtake you? Or will you stand upon the waters? Friends, there is a ghost on the waters. Only he's not a ghost. God himself is walking toward you. God himself is extending you his hand. Will you take hold of it? Will you let him pull you up above the waves? Friends, ask Jesus to reveal himself to you this week. Ask him to reveal his power over your stormy seas. And then, like Peter, ask him to call you out upon the waters. And if God has spoken some word of comfort or hope to you, perhaps even through this message or through some scripture that you've recently read or through the words of a friend, write it down, hold on to it, read it every morning this week. And every morning, invite God to invite you to step out upon the waters with him.